everyone. Welcome to another Chit Chat with Mandi and Caryl. I'm Mandi, also known as the Board Gaming Pinup Girl.
And I'm just Caryl.
Which is okay. So today we're going to be taking a look at the game Reef by Next Move Games. This is going to be an interesting one to talk about. But before we get to that, if there's anywhere in the video you'd like to see a little bit more, get to right away, you can look in the comments or the description area below to get to that section. And yeah, I think we'll just jump right into gameplay. Welcome to the colorful world of Reef. In Reef, each player is trying to gain as many points as possible by growing their reef and matching the patterns on the cards. Players receive a player board and place 4 pieces of coral, one in each color, on their boards. Players also start with 3 point tokens and 2 cards. 4 cards are placed face up, the one in the deck is also face up, and the different color coral is placed close by. On a turn, players can do one of the following. Play a card. By doing this, you gather the coral listed on the top of the card and place it directly on your board or on top of another piece of coral. You can only go 4 pieces high. Then you can complete the bottom portion of the card, multiple times if you're able, and gather points. Or you can choose a card from the display or from the top of the deck. If you take from the deck, you place a 1 point token on the lowest valued card on display. All the cards are enticing, but you have a hand limit of 4. When one color of coral pieces runs out or the deck is depleted, the game will end after the current round. Players with cards in hand can score the pattern shown on the cards only once. Most points wins. And now we're ready to give our review of Reef. So Caryl, you know the line. What'd you think?
You know what, Mandi? What did you think?
Oh, we're gonna turn the tables. I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed Reef. I was not expecting that type of game.
Oh, do elaborate what you mean by that.
So, and it's not me necessarily, even a lot of other people, they said, oh, I saw the colors and I saw the chunky pieces. I thought it was for kids. So that's not what I thought at all. I just thought, okay, it's going to be really easy, straightforward, kind of Century type road, kind of, you know, you do the actions. I mean, let's be honest, it's not a ton of thinking that's happening here, but I was wrong. You do have to really be maximize your moves. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Effectively, I think is more what I'm looking for. So if you're playing a card, you don't want to just do one thing on that card. You want to try and do both things on that card. So when I first started playing, I was just doing one thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this will take forever. I need to plan it where I can meet the conditions and I can get my stuff. You know what I mean? But yes, a lot of people were not turned off, but kind of turned away because they thought the game looked like it was for children. I don't know what that is. For me, I see color and I run to it. I'm like, ooh, tell me more. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What about you? What did you think?
Oh, I really liked it. Like, this is so good. Like, I do like the brightness of the colors.
Yeah.
Like, it's just very appealing when you look at it, and like it's really clear when I'm like playing for patterns on the card. It's like, oh, this is clearly my tallest yellow thing, you know?
Right.
Yeah, like I like that it's bright and like it's got good chunky pieces to it too.
Right.
Like, and I love that it's like almost like an engine builder in a way that Century wasn't. Like, it's not like you still have like the card market, but you know, like your board layout is almost like your engine. Like, you know, like what kind of cards will best fit the thing that you're making.
Right.
And you know how like to kind of change it up a little bit, right?
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's so true. I like the fact that the pieces are different shapes. So if you are having issues seeing any of the colors, you know the shape, and the shape is also on the card. So that really is helpful for you, and the numbers of stacks. So I thought that was really cool.
Right.
I didn't plan very well in this game. You do have to develop a type of strategy to make sure that you're building up those pieces and make sure you're right. Like, you're getting those cards that are going to work for you so you can get your pieces and make sure you meet the conditions on the bottom. And not just once, you want to meet the conditions several times so you can multiply those points. I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, it's interesting that the tiles that you get never really have anything to do with the scoring. So it's not like, oh, I could use this right away.
Yeah. And you're like,
yeah, it's like it's got like, oh, like you have to really think about the order you play. Like so many times that sometimes I'll keep everyone waiting because it's like, if I do this one first, no, but if I do this one first, and it's like, and then I have to do that one, and then that one. It's just, it's interesting that the order of it just matters so much.
I do find, a lot of people had mentioned this as well, there can be a lot of downtime. Yeah. Maybe in the games that I'm playing. I mean, for me, I'm pretty quick, but there were some people who was like, oh, like really agonizing and thinking over the cards. And I get it, you're trying to plan ahead, but I did find there was a lot of downtime in the games that I played. I don't know about you.
I feel like I don't feel that so much, but I also feel like I might be the one that's causing the downtime.
Got it. That's a different story. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would never rush anyone, but you definitely felt the lull when people were thinking, you know what I mean? So
sure, because it's not like, you know, like when you make your move you're doing a whole bunch of things like,
right.
Well, I get to move this and then I get to take this resource and I get to do this. Like it's just like, you know, take these, score, you know,
right,
like, that's it,
which is good. Or I mean, if you don't score, at least take the card and move it along, you know what I mean? But I know when people are, okay, if I get this, and then, because you have to do it in a specific order, right? Like, I believe you have to take the pieces that are on the card and place them, and then complete the bottom portion. Yeah. And that could potentially screw up your plan. So you got to make sure that you know exactly where you're putting things. Mm-hmm. So, did you play with the pieces? I know when you're doing your first game, they tell you to start with the colored pieces in the middle. Did you try doing them in the other?
Oh,
How did that work out?
I like it. I like starting with something. Like, it just... You know, it kind of gets the game moving along, like versus wasting the card already just to get something out there. Mm-hmm. Like, I like, you know, something's there. Like, yeah.
So would you say this is like similar to any other game?
I feel like it's almost as if you put Emerson's other two games, if you put his other game Century,
right,
and you took Azul together in a way, but without the hate drafting.
I hate drafting.
You know what I mean.
Really though, do I?
Yes. Yes, you do. You really do know what I mean. There's so much hate drafting in Azul. It's like, there's 8 of this color. Who will have it? Let me think about this. If I take this, then you take that. Oh, it leaves it for this person.
That is fair, yes. And if you don't map that out properly, as I've done many times, I'm like, ha, they're going to take all those tiles. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm taking all of those. Yeah. So I get that. But at least in this game, like, it's not, you know, what's there is there. I mean, it does have kind of like we had talked about, say, Katsu, where, you know, you're placing things and then you're scoring based on like things. In this case, you're scoring it based on a card. Right. Which is kind of a similar idea. And that kind of runs into that whole abstract type game situation. Sure. But yeah.
But at the same time, like, it does feel very solitaire. Like, I don't have that interaction with the other players, and I don't really care what they're doing. Like, I mean, I could also, like, hate draft, like, the cards in a way. It's like, oh, I see you're doing this, I'm just gonna take this. But
that does happen. You kind of look at someone's board and you're like, oh yeah, they're totally going for that card, so why wouldn't you take it, even if it costs you the extra point or whatever.
Right.
It saves them, like, they potentially could get 10 points, you've just spent 1, so... Yeah. I definitely think you're right, the whole solitaire aspect, but you don't really care, actually. It's, you know, you're kind of doing your own thing, you're kind of paying attention a little bit to other people, but it's not a deal breaker, you know? Some games where you play it, and Mystic Vale's another one of those where it's solitaire, but, you know, you're cool doing your little thing, and that's totally fine. I mean...
Right.
And it's not overly lengthy, so you're not doing this for long periods of time. It's like, okay, well, I'll just go play by myself. You know, it's what, 30-ish minutes, give or take?
Yeah.
So 45 minutes max. And and I think it was a good time. Then you laugh about, I could have got points doing this, and then you talk about all your, you know, what you've done and what you should have done, and you played a game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I like that it's quick, and it's a game that I've been wanting to just play again right after I played the first time. It's like, okay, let's do that again. Like I did a completely dumb strategy that I'm gonna try something else or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think which is really great. But I have to implore to people, do not look away because it looks like a kid's game, or they think it's gonna be too easy. I've heard so many people say that, and then when I've spoken to them, I said, just give it a go. And they're like, oh, you're so right. Like, it actually does have some strategy or thinking in it, that can actually have to make decisions. And they're like, oh, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I tried it and didn't just walk by. So try it. Try it before you decide you don't like it. But honestly, I'd be surprised. It's actually quite fun, straightforward. I enjoyed it. But I also like texture. I like pieces, big, chunky components. I like that.
Yeah.
And it's colorful.
Yeah.
So overall, I think we've hit all the things. We like the components, we like the colors, we like the gameplay. It fits into that kind of shorter time span. You can play it at lunch, you can play it with friends, you can play it with my mom. I mean, you can play it with whomever. And I like that. It hits that variety of people spot. So,
yeah.
Can't go wrong. And it also, people who have difficulty with color, they've made shapes, so you can actually differentiate the different shapes. See? Thinking. I like that. You're thinking of others. So overall, for me, this is a win, a big win. Really, really liked it. I mean, I love a lot of Emerson's game. This is no exception.
Yeah. Like I was really pleased with how much I enjoyed it. Like it's good, it's quick, and it's really satisfying to figure out the puzzle.
Great. And definitely, it's one of those games you'll want to try more than once, because the first time you play it, you're going to probably do terribly. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, I should have done this. But that's good. Makes you want to go back and try it again. So at least try it. Don't just decide based on what you're seeing, based on the box or colors or whatnot. So for me, 2 really big thumbs up. I really enjoyed Reef, and I will definitely keep playing it.
Yeah, me too. Definitely.
Perfect. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.